Hello, everybody. I'm back with a brand new track. I'm just kidding. But I am back. I guess I do have a new track. There's some new champions in Raid. They just released this morning. We'll go over them real quick. I'm not going to be real slow about this. I figure we get her done. We'll start with the Shadowkin first. We have Harima. Something like that. She has decent base stat. She's a little slow, 97. But I think she's going to be a nuker. We're going to have to see what the multipliers are. She has a passive called Demon Slayer. She will ignore defense effects. Enemy ignored defense effects are decreased by 50%. Sorry. Ugh. Tongue-tied. So, like, they have Helm Smasher or something like that. So you ignore that. It's going to ignore Savage. Champions from the Demon Spawn faction cannot inflict critical hits on this champion. This champion cannot land weak hits on champions from the Demon Spawn faction. That's pretty interesting, right? Let's start thinking about it. She's Force, so instantly I was like, well, her whole kit's around Demon Spawn, how she hates them. So I'm like, she's Force. So Duchess. Oh, she sucks then, right? No, she doesn't. She says, fuck your Duchess. Fuck your life. I'm taking over this arena. Her A3, Celestial Awe. Books to a 3 turn, increases damage with books. She'll attack all enemies, and she will place Provoke debuff for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target champion is from the Demon Spawn faction. So she doesn't care about Stone Skin. She doesn't care about block debuffs. She's just going to land them. That's pretty good. Her A2, Purgative Punishment. Books to a 3 turn. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 5%. Stacks up to 30. And each hit also increases his champion's defense by 5%. Stacks up to 100. Instantly activates Celestial Awe if this skill kills an enemy. So I think she's just made to just bust on Kymars, bust on Kandrophons, bust on Helicaths, bust on Duchesses. I'm trying to think of other ones that are used in Arena all the time. More to Macabres. She doesn't give a shit. You're dead. Done. Provoked. That's it. Finito, sorry. And then Debasement. It's her A1. This books up to a 75% chance on the first part. She'll place decreased attack for 2 turns, and then also will be 50% when booked to place a 50% decreased attack debuff on all other enemies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So she attacks one enemy, 75% to place decreased attack. If it's crit, it's 50% on everybody. Not too reliable, but I mean, it's decent. I saw a lot of people, other content creators, talking about how she's good for Clan Boss, but I instantly saw her as punishing the arena. I think she's going to do very well there if, hear me out, if her multipliers are good. And then her aura increases ally resistant arena by 80. That's pretty decent. Aesthetically, she looks great. She's got an Oni head here. For everybody that is not of the know, in Asian mythology, Japanese, Onis are demons. Okay? Like yokai and stuff like that. We do have another one that is right here from Shadowkin. This is Surin. She's an epic attack champion. Her aura increases accuracy in dungeons by 60. Her A3 attacks all enemies, has a 60% chance of placing, books up to 80% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense for 2 turns. That kind of sucks. There are epics and other factions that do this better. They just place decreased defense for 2 turns. She has this 3-turn cooldown when booked and an 80% chance, 85 with masteries. It's not good enough. When you have Tayrel, who's an epic, and he essentially does that, and he does hit hard, but we can't get Shadowkin to do it. I mean, just real quick, little side note here. Who places decreased defense in Shadowkin, right? Oboro does it on her A1, right? If they're under 4 or more debuffs. Really, who else? I can't think of them. There probably is one here, but nothing screams to me. The only one I know that actually places decreased defense that's a legendary is Genzen, right? So, I don't know. That's just me, man. Went on a tangent there. Oops, let's go back. Surin. Her A2. Downsize. Attacks one enemy 2 times. It will be a 3-turn cooldown. Each hit has a books to 70% chance of placing Big Weaken for 2 turns. Okay. That seems fine. You get 2 hits at it. And then her A1 is Lotus Kiss. Attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit has a books to 50% chance of placing 5% poison for 2 turns. She's nothing really to be happy about. I might book her out if I get her and just use her A3, honestly, and just give her accuracy and maybe just crit rate on her gloves. Yeah. Cool hairstyle. She's got a little purple hair. She got weird kind of art on her face. Interesting. So that is it for Shadowkin. Now let's go right here, Dark Elves. I have this dude named Noct. He looks very cool. He is floating. He seems to be of a magical nature. Very good, I say. Base stats, he's an HP champion. Very good base HP, 22k. Speed's 99. Nothing to shake a stick at. Resistant accuracy are as is. His aura is ally hit point in dungeons by 35%. Solid. It's passive. Somnolence. I assume is it what that is. Heals his champion by 3% of their max HP and all allies except this champion by 1% of this champion's max HP every time a poison debuff ticks on an enemy. This guy kind of seems fun with Chaugr, right? Because Chaugr does, puts people to sleep when poison debuff happens. Because he has this here. Whenever an ally is attacked while under ally protection, has a 40% chance of placing sleep on the attacker for 1 turn. So I think he could be kind of cool for a meme team in Arena with him and Chaugr. You could just have some funny things going on. Chaugr's in stun set. This dude's in whatever. You know what I mean? I love the design. Poison daggers. He's kind of holding this one kind of stabby way. And the other one's kind of, I don't know. One's backwards, one's not. He's got this bug aesthetic to him. It looks like a spider on his back. I'm only seeing 3 legs though, but 6 legs. No, not a spider then. But yeah. His A3. Heady Fumes, or Heady Fumes. 3-turn cooldown when booked. Places ally protection on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also places continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Okay. Dreamer's Demise. Books to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. Books to a 100% chance of placing sleep for 1 turn and 2 poison debuffs for 2 turns. His passive. With this effect, places 2 additional poison debuffs for 2 turns whenever a sleep debuff placed by this skill is removed or disappears after an enemy takes damage. That's very interesting. I wonder if you just turn this Heady Fumes off, if you can just use this guy as a solo champion in dungeons. I wonder if he won't be as good as Theodore, I think, but he definitely will probably be up there with the likes of Tomb Lord, and I bet you he could do Ice Golem with the right setup. Let's look at his A1, Haze of Pain, attacks an enemy, 50, 60, 70, 80% chance of placing 50% decrease accuracy for 2 turns. Not bad. I like this guy. I think he's very cool. I wouldn't be upset getting him. How many books does this guy require? 2, 7, 11 books. That's pretty decent. That's average for a legendary. Let's see. Did we have any? Nope. No Dark Elves. Any in the undead, sorry, I don't remember them off the bat, and I don't have cheat sheets pulled up here. I don't believe we have any for Night Revs. Demon Spawn, that is a Negator. So yeah, it's this middle row here and up here. Orcs, we have Tagore. He's pretty cool looking. It looks like he's killed a lot of kings in his time. This one definitely looks like Wolnir from Dark Souls 3. Definitely thinking that's where that got pulled from, but it also probably got pulled from somewhere else. 2 people already got him. Good for them. I hope he's fun. He is a support champion with very fast base speed for an epic 105. He has an aura of HP in all battles by 25%. Aid the Feeble. It says decreases damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. Now this is like a baby Duchess thing, and I don't think there's other champions that actually have this. Looks pretty cool, honestly, to me. He looks like that orc in, I want to say it's Return of the King, that it's a pan shot, and it's at Pelennor Fields, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you see it, because it just pans him, he goes, "Arr!" like that. That's what that face is. Literally right there. Rise and Fight. Books to a 5-turn cooldown. Revives all dead allies, 30% HP. Places shield buff on them for 2 turns equal to 20% of his max HP. Charge Can't. 5 turns, books to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, places increased speed on all allies for 2 turns, then heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP. And then his A1, the Magic Stick. Love it. This guy, he seems kind of like a simple brain. He's got Rise and Fight. Charge Can't. I don't understand what the language is there. But then you got the Magic Stick. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times, places increased defense for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest current HP. Very solid. I like it. That's on an A1. And that is big defense for 2 turns. Very nice. You get him in Relentless, he just keeps A1 and probably have a good time. That is it for these guys. Skinwalkers. Now, Skinwalker's got a new one. I'm going to make fun of the name. Okay, so picture this as you can. We are in Teleria, a magical world of factionated beings and creatures and all these fantastical things. We got names like, you know, Arbiter and Ruel the Huntsman, things like that. Now we got the monkey, and his name is Samson the Masher. Samson. Does Teleria have a zoo? Did Samson break out of that zoo? I don't know. I think you could have called this guy anything else. I know there's like Guerrilla Chieftains and Magic the Gathering that they could have pulled a name from and mixed the words around a little bit. I mean, but whatever. He looks aesthetically cool. He's got like these monkey, angry, chimpanzee fists that have glowing eyes and mouth. Pretty cool. He's got tusks on his head. And he is, you can definitely tell from the model, he is Dracul the Gaunt, and Dracula's got these tusks here too. He's a legendary HP champion. This kills me every time. Okay, I just have to vent. You have HP based damage dealers and you give their auras as defense in all battles. Why? That doesn't help them out. It doesn't complement their kit. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'd want him, okay, if I'm going to put him in a team, say I just pulled him, I'm brand new, I'm like, cool, I might get some extra damage off of him for his aura. I put him in the lead, it's for defense, not for HP, so it doesn't even affect his damage. I don't understand it. They do this all the time. Just a little more forward thinking. You'd think defense champions, defense buff, HP champions, HP buff, because here's the thing. You can't increase the damage of HP-based champions with buffs vis-a-vis in the game. You understand? Like, there's no increased HP unless it's in an aura. I just don't understand it. That's just, sorry. That's my gripe. Base HP is great. He's a little slow, but average, because he is kind of a damage dealer, as we'll come to find out. His passive, Affronted, decreases the damage this champion receives from critical hits by 20%. Counterattacks the attacker when hit with a critical hit. Has a 50% chance of counterattacking the attacker when hit with a strong, normal, or weak hit. So, So decreases his damage, and then he just counterattacks if it's critical. But then he's got like 50-50 if it's in any other kind of hit. That's pretty cool. I like that. Sorry, his A3, Roar of Victory. Right? 6 turns, books to a 4. Technically a 3-turn cooldown because he gets an extra turn on this skill. Places 50% increased accuracy buff on allies for 3 turns. Also places a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 3 turns. Then grants him an extra turn. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I guess this would be the only thing. There's not, okay. One more gripe. Oh, hold up, let me look at it. Okay. You really, how do I say this? Like I just said, you have no buffs for HP-based damage dealers, right? That increase their damage through HP. Unless it's an aura. Hear me out. So they have this skill, Roar of Victory. It increases accuracy. Yes, good. By 50%. Great buff, love it. Increases his crit damage. Okay, that makes sense. This guy's whole kit is about killing, giving people the old fists, Give him the explosive temper, be angry monkey, right? The old silverback charge, the old Congo smongo. Does his kit have anything other than a stun that he does for a debuff? No, it's just a stun. So he doesn't even complement his own kit well when he gives increased accuracy. He's going to be built for the rest of the other team if you have a debuffer on the team, which who knows? I don't know what you'd use him in. If I got him, I'd be like, cool, this guy's pretty neat. I might use him in my faction wars. I might even book him up and get him masteries just to have fun with him, you know? But I'm looking at this guy. I look at this part of the kit. I look at the aura. I'm already peeved about the aura. And then I look at accuracy increase. Doesn't do anything for him. Increased crit damage is a weak buff. It's still a weak buff. Even after being tooled, I think like a year ago. I don't know. I do like this is on effectively a 3-turn cooldown because he gets an extra turn. Then he has his A2, Explosive Temper, books to a 3-turn cooldown as well. It'll attack all enemies. Will remove all increased defense buffs from enemies before attacking. Places an extra hit if this attack kills an enemy. Okay, now you're looking at me, it's HP based damage. Now you're looking like, oh, see, he needs accuracy for this. You're right, he does, but when you have a nuker for the arena, do you want him with accuracy? No. You want him to do his job. His job is to destroy. Whatever he hits, he'd destroy. And that's what you want out of your nuker. You don't want him to do anything with accuracy. Accuracy is non-plus, if that makes sense. It doesn't do anything for your nukers. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have to build accuracy on your nukers. Just build damage. That's why you have a stripper in the team, to take off all their buffs. Leave them bare. Make them vulnerable. Right? Like Madame Saris. Yeah. I don't know. He's not great. He's, you know, I like him aesthetically. He's Big Mad Monkey Man. Whatever. You know, he's our first ape, and I'm happy we finally get an ape. Yeah. Place an extra hit if this attack kills an enemy. That's cool. Does accuracy help? No. What they really could have done was increase crit rate on this guy and like increase speed. I don't know if we could have ever really done like an increased HP buff like we have with everything else. Let's talk about aesthetically here. Like he's got 2 monkeys down here, and they're like got this lotus or something, and they're like passing off a drug deal or something. He's got human skulls and fangs and claws and teeth, probably from Lizard Man faction. Pretty cool monkey. Ooh. Hanuman, the monkey god. And then we have his A1, Vanity Fist, attacks an enemy 2 times. This is a 45% chance of placing a stun for a turn. Like, meh. I like him, like I said, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get him. If he's the oh god, if he's the guaranteed Sacred Legendary in December, I will headbutt through my monitor. That is a spit in the face. Don't even get me started on the Balkans. Sorry, don't get me started on the guaranteed Sacred Legendary that they're not doing for us because they know exactly how many Sacreds everybody has. So, we have pretty much 2 useless creatures here from Lord of the Rings. We have Skis, or Keys, or, you know, if you do like, I guess, the Irish pronunciation with the C, it's a K, so he's Keys. He's going to be our next login champion. Good for him. You know, you've been playing for 2.5 years, and you're like, nice, another login champion. What do we get? It's an epic. Better be a good epic. Oh, boy, no. What happened? It's not. Speed 100. Passive. Steals 50% of the target's turn meter from the enemy at the highest turn meter at the end of this champion's turn. This effect cannot be resisted. Cool, you don't need accuracy. That'd be another thing for the monkey if he didn't need accuracy to remove defense. Like, that was his only buff he removed. That'd be totally fair. And he's Spirit Affinity. Spirit Affinities aren't good nukers. Force Affinity, Candrofon's a good nuker. Magic Affinity is what's nukes in Arena. Void Affinity. Whatever. Swarming Suffering, books to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, places increased crit damage on this champion for 2 turns before attacking, and then heals the champion by 5% of their max HP on each critical hit. Okay. Knight of the Bat. I'm actually kind of curious to see how this buff happens. Attacks 1 enemy 3 times, fills this champion's turn meter by 10% on each critical hit, and then also places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn. Books to a 3-turn. A1, Snicker and Slice. Attacks one enemy. Places increased attack buff on the champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. He's just run-of-the-mill mediocre. You know, he's nothing to really be happy about. You might be able to do something with him in Bommel, since this can't be resisted, but then he's also going to get a bomb on him, so I mean, it is what it is. Lorne, very ugly. Looks like a bat that went to Hot Topic and got gauges in his ears. I don't know. That's just what I see, folks. 98 base speed. He's an attack champion. He has a pretty simple kit. His A3 is Snatch into Darkness. 4-turn cooldown. Books up to 100% chance. Attacks one enemy. Decreases the target's turn meter by 100%. That's pretty good, actually. So, like, if you're having a hard time in Faction Wars, there used to be cheese strategies for the undead where you do Stitched Beast and Lich, because you could do a whole team of them and you just cycle and steal turn meter from the enemy team. You could probably do the same thing with this guy if you're suffering an Ogren. A2, Frightful Frenzy. Attacks all enemies. Books to 100% chance of placing Leech and heal reduction for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Hand Fangs. I'm sorry. Hand Fangs makes me think of like the dodgeball. So, attacks one enemy 3 times, heals his champion by 50% of the damage inflicted. Again, run-of-the-mill, mediocre. Nothing in this one. Barbarians didn't have a new one. Except for Hascarl. It seems like his fusion will be easy, but I won't be wasting the resources on it. I'm not even going to go over his kit. You guys can do that in game. I'm just not impressed. I mean, he looks kind of cool, like a dark barbarian, but whatever. Let us look at a champion that's probably going to change the meta for dungeons and clan boss, even Hydra. We have Corvus the Corruptor. Now, this guy I'm actually really interested in. If I got him, I'd be pretty happy. Not as happy as Theodore. My life wouldn't be made that easy. But this guy does some pretty cool stuff, right? So I was thinking, I play a lot of gacha games. I play Infinite Magic Raid. I've played Awakened Chaos Era. I play Dislight. Summoner's War. It keeps me busy. Almost every one of those games, even the other games that I haven't mentioned, they have a Plague Doctor person in them. So here we have Corvus the Corruptor. Plague Doctor fits very well with the Sacred Order, Holy Crusade kind of thing. He's a defense champion, which even better. I love seeing that he was defense. He has 99 speed. Base defense a little low. 1398 for a legendary. That's okay. Oh, but ha! Wow! Whoa! Would you look? His aura increases his defense by 30%. Come on, Raid. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? Sorry. His passive, Curious Drought. Decrease the damage enemies under poison debuffs inflict by 5% less per poison debuff. Stacks up to 25%. That's right there. You're like, oh, okay. All right. You look at his little symbols here. You're like, oh, this guy's definitely dealing in some poison. So we got Field Research. Books to a 4-turn cooldown. Books up to 100% chance. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing 2 5% poison debuffs for 2 turns. And then after attacking, he will place a poison sensitivity debuff on enemies under 2 or more poison debuffs. Okay. He attacks all enemies 2 times and places 2 poison debuffs for 2 turns each time he hits. So he can place 4. And then he's placing poison sensitivity. His damage is based on defense. And then he's like, well, we're going to decrease the damage that those guys do when they're under debuff. So if you're placing 4 right off the bat, that's 20% damage reduction. Very nice. Chef's kiss. A2, Medical Miracle. 3-turn cooldown when booked. Attacks all enemies 2 times. The first hit increases the duration of all enemy debuffs for a turn. And then the second hit increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. This guy is all about point swings. That's what he's all about. He's like, fuck you, you get poison, less damage for me and my boys. Fuck you, you get less of your, or you get more debuff duration, and we get more buff duration. Seems like a great deal. And then he has his A1 Reductive Process. This is pretty much whatever. He is definitely like when you look at him on paper, like this Clan Boss champion. But I see him as so much more. You can take this guy. I would honestly say put him into Ice Golem. Put him into Dragon. How many multi-hits does he have? 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, you can even run him in Fire Knight. And then his A1 reductive process, attacks an enemy, 40% chance, books to a 60 of placing decreased attack for 2 turns. This guy's great. This guy, honestly, I think is going to be the most accessible to people. I'm praying. I pray to any deities that listen. Let this guy be the guaranteed sacred. I will bust sacred charts. I'd even go up to 20 for this guy. I think this guy's amazing. I'd love to see what he does for his effects. With this little snake image, I think it's going to be like, you know, like what Elegias and those guys do. But yeah. Let's see. Did we have anybody else? Sacred Order? No. Oops, I just left Sacred Order. High Elves has Skaramus. He's an HP-based damage-dealing champion that places Provoke. See, here we go. This one makes sense. Look. Increases ally HP in all battles by 25%, and his damage is all based on HP. Come on. You can't make it any simpler. Hold the front, 3-turn cooldown, and let's look, 10, 25% extra, 100% chance of placing debuff, provoke on all enemies for a turn? Well, the only other epic I can think that does that at 100% for 1 turn is Umbral Enchantress, and she's a void epic. So, and this guy seems pretty cool. He also gets a counterattack and continuous heal buff on himself for 2 turns. This guy already is pretty cool. I mean, and looking at him, rest in peace, the Green Ranger. He looks like the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. Effortless Superiority, 4-turn, books to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, decreases duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. So that just happens. That just happened. He just decreases everybody's debuffs for a turn. There's no percentage here, but there's a percentage on the second part of this. Also has, when booked, 75% chance of placing decreased attack for 2 turns. Then will fill his turn meter by 10% for each buff that has its duration decreased. I mean, this guy can just lap turns. I think this guy's probably the best epic that's come out of him. That sword. Ooh, that sword's got a little shine to it. And then we have Outpace. Attacks one enemy. When booked, 90% chance of stealing 15% of their turn meter. Has another 30% when booked chance of stealing or placing a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target's turn meter is fully depleted by this skill. I mean, you got to give him something, I guess. But yeah, love him. I think Skaramus is going to be pretty good. Now, Bannerlords. We didn't. Oh, we did. Okay, where are my Berserk fans at? Are you there? Are you there, Godsmeet Margaret? Yofrig is Serpico from Berserk. Prove me wrong. He has the hair. He's got that cape. He doesn't have a rapier, which I think is a bit of a sad thing. I wish he did. Let's look at him here. He's a support champion with 100 speed, pretty decent. It's an epic. Per durable. Removes all decreased attack debuffs from all allies at the start of his turn. His aura is increases speed in all battles by 15%. That's pretty decent. Committed offense. 4-turn cooldown when booked. Fills the turn meters of all allies by 15% and then places increased attack on allies for 2 turns. Big version. Flow of morale. Books to a 3-turn cooldown and also books to 100% chance. He will attack all enemies, stealing 1 random buff from each enemy and then places continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's very good. And then his A1, a base, attacks 1 enemy, 40% chance of placing decreased attack for 2 turns. I like him. He's very basic, and you know what? This is Nilfgaard. If you're also a Witcher fan, this is the Nilfgaard symbol with the sun and the gold and the black. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's it, guys. I know I started speeding up there at the end, but we're already hitting 30 minutes on the video. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. Remember, tomorrow is Black Friday. Keep your eye out if you are a spender for very good deals. Plug them into the value calculator. I will link Choflies. I don't know if he's even doing raid anymore. But there's a lot of value calculators if you Google them out there. Go to Deadwood Jedi's website, and he has them as well. And if you have any questions, any concerns, if I said anything wrong about any of these champions, let me know. Argue with me in the comments. Be a man. All right, fight me on the internet. All right, see ya.